Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosenzel, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosenzel. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Mosenzel, available on Amazon, paperback, and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosenzel has gotten great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes, Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Mosenzel. Available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas 24/7, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, makes great gifts 24/7 for family, friends, year-round. And also, don't forget to check out the Mia Mosenzel store on Amazon for great books like Missing, Once and Wrinkles. Also, T-shirts, pop sockets, and also some cool hoodies and great phone cases for the whole family. Check out Amazon.com/Mia Mosenzel for all the great merchandise. Also, support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, as well as PayPal and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you give generously today. We're here with a terrific lady who's an author, entrepreneur, and a mother of 5 boys, and shares stories about her life, raising her boys, and being in an interracial marriage. And she's also a speaker, trainer, and a podcaster. We'll talk about that. Her latest book asks, "Is racial bias a thing of the past?" And also delves into a number of subjects about, just ask a couple questions. We get to that. And she's got a vision for a new world and basically just explores the potential to change the way people think and feel about the stereotypes. And, of course, demonstrates a very special tool. We'll talk about that. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Salt Lake City, the amazing, multi-talented author, entrepreneur, and the terrific mom of 5 boys, and the book, Is It Racism? How to Heal the Human Divide? Ladies and gentlemen, Aundrea DeMille. Aundrea, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mike. I appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you on board, too, as well. And you'll look at your profile. You are totally amazing. You're not just an author. You're not just an entrepreneur. You're an excellent mother of 5 boys. You share stories about your life, raising her boys, and being in an interracial marriage, which your husband is great. We talked about that. And also you're speaker, trainer, and a podcaster. And the latest book that you have out called Is It Racism? How to Heal the Human Divide? Ask the questions, is racial bias a thing of the past? Does discrimination not really exist anymore? And when it comes to race relations? Do we really not see color? So those are important questions we will ask and talk about. And of course, you've got Vision for a New World and explores the potential to change. And you also have a special tool, which is called the Mind Meld. Talk about that. And before getting to all that, Aundrea, tell us how you first got started.
Yeah, thank you. What's interesting about how I first got started in business is my husband had been laid off for the second time in a year.
Oh, wow.
And I was pregnant with the fifth boy now.
Oh, my gosh.
And so we decided to just pack up everything and move across the country to Utah and start over. So once we got to Utah, we were thank the Lord for technology, we could job search remotely.
Huh.
And then I said, hey, why don't we work for ourselves? Let's just not work for anyone ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So we started our business, 360 Tour Designs in Salt Lake, which is a real estate marketing company. And very quickly went from the traditional roles of I was staying at home to all of a sudden being a co-business owner with my husband. Mm-hmm. And so we did that for a couple of years until Dave and I decided that it's more important to save our marriage than to work together.
I know how that goes. Honey, I love you, but I'm doing it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we take this husband, although he can be a real pain in the neck and decides how he wants to spend money. I know how it goes.
Absolutely. So once we decided to split in terms of business, things really started to pick up both in our marriage and our company. So I would go and I would teach a lot of people how to grow their businesses because I put together this program that helped me increase my sales by 483% just in 1 year. Wow. And so I started doing trainings on how to grow your business from nothing and be really successful when I met my mentor, David Ibarra. And so I went to Dave and I said, hey, I'm really interested in writing a book that would help women specifically really focus on entrepreneurship and grow. And so I was working on that book when the murder of George Floyd happened. And when that happened, it was the first time that I physically saw my children suffer from a racial injustice.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And so the second oldest he's almost 14, but he was 12 at the time. And this is non-exaggeration, he would come to me every day for a week straight. And at some point in the day, he was crying and just saying things like, Mom, I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, why did this happen? And so I took that pain and kind of went public with my stance on social justice because I've always done it very privately and navigated several book clubs. And, I've always been the safe Black friend for my white friends to ask their questions. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I put this video out on the internet just talking about what it's like raising Black boys in America and some of the hard conversations that I have to have with my boys to literally keep them safe and alive. And that video went, at the time, my standards of viral, it got about 20,000 views. And at the time, he was lieutenant governor. He's now our governor of Utah, Governor Cox, and his campaign got wind of the video.
Nice.
So they decided to come to my home in Ogden and visit. And just really learn and listen what it's like being new to the state and what their administration can do to help, but also what it's like having the Black experience in the state of Utah and what they could do, to improve in that area as well. Mm-hmm. And we left being really, really good friends with him, the Lieutenant Governor Henderson and his wife, First Lady Abby. And so after that, I learned how my stories had impacted our administration. And Governor Cox tasked me, or he put me on the task force for Project Gateway, Opportunity and Equity. And so here I am all of a sudden giving policy suggestions, to our state government on the LGBT plus Q community, on women's rights, and for minorities. And so all these things started happening, and people, because I've done trainings in the past on how to grow your business and implement systems and entrepreneurship, I was no stranger to being in front of an audience. But I went back to my mentor, David Ibarra, and I said, David, everyone's coming to me and asking me to be on panels and speakings and trainings on, racial justice issues and biases and diversity and equity trainings. I really think I should pivot and write my book about that. I feel like I should share these stories, some of the stories that I share with the Cox administration. And he said, absolutely, do it. And that's how we ended up kind of growing a business, but then also writing this book.
That is interesting. I love what you said. That was great. And you talked about the George Floyd murder. Now, was that in the middle of writing your business book? Is that when you switched gears to your current book? Was that precisely when the George Floyd murder happened?
Yeah, it wasn't at the same time. It was probably a few months later when it happened. I would say, so that was in June. I pivoted my book probably fall, early. No. It was closer to Christmas-ish. Yeah, closer to Christmas 2020 is when I decided to pivot. Because that's when I realized the power of these stories, you know, and I'm like, I feel this call to help bring people together and I can't ignore that call. So I decided to, pivot and write the book about that.
That is very interesting. And being from Chicago, you lived there for a while. What prompted you to come to Utah?
That was a long 3-year journey, to be honest. So my husband, like you, is from Chicago. He's from Naperville. What do they call it? Chicagoland.
Chicago, yeah.
Chicago.
That's how you tell your suburban. You say Chicago.
Right.
It sounds like Boston combined. Like.
Right. So what's funny is my husband went to school in Idaho, and for about 3 years, he just kept mentioning how we should, consider living in Utah and raising our family. And, for your listeners, my husband is white. He's from Chicago. I'm Black and I'm from Georgia. And our older 2 boys are Black and the last 3 boys are mixed. And so I tell people we're a very modern family. And, we have 3 baby daddies and 2 baby mamas. And it's a big mix. And so my husband said this would be a great place to raise the boys because of so much just outdoor activities. Our family is very athletic. I played collegiate softball. Wow. And the boys are very athletic. So it was 3 years of him kind of putting it in my head. And then when he was laid off, what's funny is I'm the one who said, well, we can job search anywhere in the world and you keep bringing up Utah. So why not Utah?
One of the best places out there, I got to say that was consideration, but where we're at, I think it all worked out for the better. That is such an amazing story. We'll talk about some of your stories as well, too, in your book, and also you being an entrepreneur as well, too. But first, you listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia. Available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley Eminence. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Mosensia. Available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and over 30 podcast platforms. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia for great books and merchandise and more. Check it out today and also support us on Anchor FM, also PayPal and The Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you give generously today. We're here with a terrific author, entrepreneur, and mother of 5 excellent boys and sharing all kinds of stories on the Mike Wagner Show. And Aundrea DeMille, the author of Is It Racism? How to Heal the Human Divide. And you wrote the book, especially after George Floyd got murdered. You're writing a business book. And also tell us more about the book, Is It Racism? And maybe share a few stories from it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the book is a combination of 10 stories that myself and my family has personally experienced surrounding racial bias.
Mm-hmm.
And I open up the book with one of my own stories. So as I mentioned, Governor Cox commissioned me to the transition team to help write policies for equity and opportunity in the state of Utah. So I was asked to show up at this diversity signing compact for the state. And it was a cold December morning, still in the middle of COVID. So it was outside on the Capitol steps.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, it was still very virtual and my only warm coat was a ski coat. So I stopped at a local department store on the way to the signing and grabbed a nice snow white pea coat because I knew I would be surrounded by a lot of politicians and some of the who's who of Utah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're at the signing and it's beautiful. Everyone's coming together. I mean, there's old, young, black, white, brown, Asian, Samoan. I mean, it was gay, straight.
Wow.
It was a beautiful mix of people at the event. And as we're standing there and I'm on the steps, I can catch movement out of the right corner of my eye. And then I notice that a gentleman starts approaching the Capitol. And as he gets a little closer, I realize that he is a Hispanic person without wearing a shirt. And he's covered in tattoos. And his pants were just a little bit below his belt line.
Oh.
And my first thought, was how you're reacting. It was, whoa, what is he doing here? Is he here to start trouble? Like, what is going on? And in that moment, I realized I was driven by my own subconscious bias about him and what, a troublemaker would look like. Mm-hmm. And I made myself stop and look at him. And I said this is my inner monologue. I was like, Aundrea, stop it. Look at him. And when I looked at him in his eyes, he was smiling from ear to ear. And he was so excited to be there. And in that moment, I changed my feelings from fear to one of inclusion and peace. And, was able to rewrite that stereotypical anecdotal idea of what a troublemaker looks like. And so I share that story in the book to let everybody know we all have racial bias. We all sometimes see people and make a snap judgment based on their appearances, myself included. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, but with the help of the mind model, we can all get there. And the mind model is universal laws of success mixed with science, backed by science, that helps us to first, one, wake up to our own biases, and two, check our feelings and what we were doing, like I did in that Capitol day, or that day at the Capitol. I was able to check my feelings and say, why are you feeling this? Stop, right? And then it allows us to reprogram our subconscious mind with more inclusive, loving feelings and thoughts so that together we can move forward and rewrite our programming. And that's what's going to help us to help heal that human divide. So we explore the mind model with various stories throughout the book and reflective questions at the end of every chapter to help us create more inclusion.
That's rather interesting. It almost sounds like a workshop in a way where it's like you read the story, then you answer the questions in the back. Of course, there are no right or wrong answers. You learn something. And also, I was going to ask about the mind model. And once again, what are the 3 points again so our listeners or viewers can understand this?
Yeah, absolutely. So the mind model is the universal laws of science the universal laws of attraction backed by science that help us to first wake up to our own unconscious bias and check our feelings. And then two, to reprogram our subconscious mind by actively taking a conscious effort to change our feelings. And then three, having the strength to move forward and share more inclusive stories so that we react in a more inclusive way when we see people who look differently from us.
Oh, that's really interesting. It's almost like reaching common ground and learning more about a person. That's what it sounds like.
Absolutely.
And very interesting. I love that story. That was great. Maybe he was a Utah Jazz fan. Who knows? So.
You never know.
He also, that's one of the stories you had in there. And of course, you also had a couple other stories, and maybe you can throw another one. I mean, this is just so interesting.
Yeah, thank you. One that I love to share is, and this was during the pandemic. Actually, it's a more recent one. My the oldest at the time, he's since moved out. He's 19 now, and he lives back in Georgia with his mom. But at the time, he was helping me shop for family pictures. So we went into a local department store, And he's going on and on giving his argument about why he needs to pierce his ears and what's the importance of his ears piercing. And if he gets them pierced now, then he can, play when the school starts because he's an athlete. Huh. And so we're grabbing clothes while he's arguing about his ears piercing. And we get ready. I go to the makeup counter to check out to make sure I have everything ready for family photos. The sweet woman at the counter checks us out and we proceed to walk towards the door. Mm-hmm. Well, as we walk to the door, I catch out of my right eye a friend and colleague from the industry, one of my clients.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at her and I said, oh, hey, how are you doing? And she smiled. And I said, Nate, do you remember her? We went to Yellowstone together and stayed in her cabins. And he was like, yeah, I remember. And he starts telling her, how he wants to get his ears pierced as well.
That's interesting.
So she opens the door, Nate opens the door for us. And the two of us start to walk out the door together. And so I had my bags in my hand with the receipt, and she had a buggy full of items like pillows and blankets and things like that when the alarms go off.
Uh-oh.
And so I pause and take a step back, and she kind of waits in the doorway, and she's physically leaning in and out of, do I leave, do I stay, kind of what's going on. So the coworker at the door asked for a receipt, so I hand that over, and the woman at the makeup counter who checked us off could see what was happening, and she just kept waving us on like, they're fine, they're good to go. And so the woman at the door started pulling every item out of our bags and was going line by line on the receipt to kind of make sure that everything was taken care of. Eventually, the lady from the makeup counter comes over and says, hey, I just checked them out. They're fine. They're good to go. And so they let us leave. But what's interesting about that is not once did they check my girlfriend, who also had a buggy full of items.
Really?
And right. And so, I'm in no way insinuating she stole something, but I share that story because here we are, both in similar apparel. Both, aside from a few years in age, the only difference between she and I is she's white and I'm black. And you would think that in that moment, either we both should be checked or we both should be, let to go. And so I share that story with my audience because I like for people to just kind of think and say, well, why do you think I was checked and not them? Right? Was it anything racially derived, or was this person working on autopilot? What in their past maybe made them check me and not her? Could it be training? Could it be she wasn't paying attention? What do you think it is? And so we just kind of explore some of those things because sometimes racial biases can be very subtle. And sometimes they can be very flagrant and kind of in your face. And in this case, the mind model could have been used to reprogram all of our subconscious minds. Even if my friend had said, hey, why are you checking her and not me? Right? That would have allowed all of us to wake up to what was happening. And if she'd asked the employee, why are you checking her? Then the employee could have checked her own feelings, which is step 2 in the mind model of, right, why am I only checking her and not you? Right? And we kind of could have had a dialogue to reprogram all of our subconscious minds.
That's really interesting. I was going to ask as well, too, in the book, is racial bias a thing of the past? And I guess the question is it still considered a thing of the past, or does it still exist?
I think in some areas it's both, because you always have your extremities and your outliers, right? Some, hey, I'm from the South and I have family members who are total racists because that's what they knew. They grew up in a time of segregation. They don't like white people, even though my husband's white, right? These things still exist, just like there's still some, older white people who hold on to those beliefs, the racial beliefs. And we tend to forget that our great aunts, great uncles, our grandparents still could pass down some of those racially biased feelings, right? Based on how they were raised. So in some ways, yes, it still absolutely does exist. And in other ways, it could be no, because people are just on autopilot, right? Maybe the color of my skin had nothing to do with why she stopped us. Maybe she saw me and didn't see my girlfriend. Well, you never know. But that's why we like to use the mind model to explore those feelings and check our feelings, because that's what's going to help us to wake up and realize, was this racial? Yes or no? And then we can go from there and reprogram.
And also, too, that about discrimination. If you guys pick up the book, does it exist or not? And also, do people see color? Check out the book, does that exist or not? And those are really interesting points you brought up as well too. And of course, I like to share my story as well too, if you can relate, because my wife and I went to Milwaukee and we had 2 young kids, and one of them just splashed spaghetti all over the place. It was just, we had to run to the mall and get a replacement outfit. And of course, there were some people there who goes, "Hey, I'm from the South Side of Chicago. How's it going? Have a nice day," and everything like that. And then we also went to a Ponderosa, and the people were there. "Hey, how's it going? How's it going? We live on the South Side, and where you're from, nice to meet you." And some sat by us and everything. And I can say this. It was the best experience I ever had. So we encourage you. It's like, if you go to like a buffet or anything like that, just sit down with anybody and share stories.
Right.
That's my trick. I
hope
that's in the book.
It absolutely is. Some of those thought-provoking questions and what we can do include that. It really does go back to, you know what? Just have a conversation. Just get to know people for who they are, because it really does help us to replace some of our stereotypical anecdotal thinking with real interactions with people. And then we start to respond with more inclusion, right? Like that day on those Capitol steps, I had no real reason to fear the Hispanic ban. I have never had a bad run-in with anybody Hispanic, or, Latino or Latina. And so the only reason I responded with fear is because of stereotypes. So the more and more we check and realize and have honest interactions, sit by anybody, get to know folks who look differently from you, different ages, different genders, different socioeconomic statuses, right? Different ethnicities, cultural backgrounds, the more you can reprogram your subconscious mind with inclusion, for sure.
And don't forget to talk about the Utah Jazz. You'll be friends for life.
That is true, especially after coming off of I think it was the winningest season. We were won more than anyone, I think.
I think so. I think the Bulls kind of set the benchmark, unless it was Golden
Well, they
State.
did.
It's like, either one of the two. It's like if they hit 70 wins, I mean, they're well respected no matter what.
Absolutely.
And of course, not only Aundrea is the author of the book, is Racism, How to Heal the Human Divide. She's also an entrepreneur. She's also a coach. She's also got a podcast. We'll talk about those and how she can help you. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the amazing author and multi-talented Aundrea DeMille with Is It Racism? How to Heal the Human Divide? After this time up.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host, and I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mia Molson-Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing. Available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with author and Aundrea DeMille of Is It Racism? How to Heal the Human Divide on The Mike Wagner Show. Great book. We encourage you to check it out, and she'll tell us at the end on where to get the book and more. And you're not just an author, you're also an entrepreneur, and you're also a public speaker. You have a podcast, and you're also a coach as well, too. And tell us more about that and how you can help people.
Yeah, absolutely. So my podcast show is called The Wake Up Stories, and we explore lots of different biases behind everything from, gender bias, your sexual orientation bias, maybe because you're queer, maybe because you're straight, ageism, mental health, race. So we bring guests on. So if you guys ever want to come on my show, reach out. We bring guests on to share their personal stories of how either they've been treated differently because of their race, their gender, their religious beliefs, because of their disabilities, and share tips on how other people can start to be more inclusive. And then we also have people who come on who say, hey, I used to be biased about, an older generation or Gen Zers or people with disabilities. And this is how I was able to change my feelings. So we do a little bit of both. And so we are on, all hosting platforms for sure. But yeah, that's our show, The Wake Up Stories. We just use those power of stories to help connect people and to help heal that human divide. But yeah, as you mentioned, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business 4 years now, mother of 5 boys. And so, always happy to help people grow their businesses. In fact, just before you and I went on, Mike, I was having a meeting teaching someone how to do referral networking.
Wow, amazing.
To grow their business. And so I love to help coach people and to grow the way that they want, whether they're a small business or bigger corporations. And some of that we include and use, it definitely goes back to the mind model, because you can reprogram your subconscious mind, to win and to build more referrals also for, racial inclusion and things like that as well.
Mm-hmm. And then how do people contact you for services or to get more information or get help?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys want to work together, if you want to come on my show or I come on yours, just collaborate. If you want to be coached in any way or hire me to speak and train, you can definitely find me at my website, thewakeupstories.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Aundrea, that's AUNDREA _D_. So I'm on Instagram and, all social media platforms. But yeah, for sure, visit our website, thewakeupstories.com.
That's certainly very interesting as well, too. We're here with Aundrea DeMille here on the Mike Wagner Show. She's author of the book, Is It Racism? How the Heal the Human Divide. And what else can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond, Aundrea?
Yeah, actually, the next thing I have coming up in 2022 is a children's book called Bunny Seeds.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah, it's called Bunny Seeds. All bunnies are created equal. Ooh. And the inspiration behind this really came from my own child. As I mentioned, we have 5 boys and the last 3 are mixed. And so one day, my 7-year-old came home and he was using his puppet to talk to me. His name is the Dominator, which tells you everything. It tells you everything about my son's personality, right? The Dominator.
A lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, I bet you. The Dominator.
Yeah, the Dominator. So he's using the Dominator to tell me that because I'm Black, I don't deserve to own a property and I don't deserve to buy a home. And I said, well, why, Dominator? Why do you say that? And he said, well, because your Black skin reminds people of darkness and evil, and people don't like darkness and evil. And and so I went and sat on my bathroom floor and, no joke, cried for about 25 minutes straight. And all I could think is, where is he learning this, right? He's learning racial bias outside of our home. This is definitely not something that's taught here. It's still very much just embedded in our systems in school and television and the video games. And so I want to help program the subconscious mind of children all around the world so that they can respond in a more loving and inclusive way, because clearly it still happens that my own child said this about me, you know, and I'm his mother. And so that's why Bunny Seeds will be coming out in 2022 to help teach children that all bunnies are created equal.
And very loving, too, and they love carrots. That's a common ground. So. That's so amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Right on.
And also, who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Aundrea?
I have to say my dad. Mm-hmm. He came from nothing. He came from the projects in Miami as a teen parent with single mom, and came from nothing. And he has stayed with our family and raised us with my mom. In fact, they celebrate 40 years next week. Congrats, parents.
Oh, congratulations. Happy anniversary. Bakers.
Yeah, they celebrate 40 years. And he is now a millionaire. So to go from the projects to a millionaire and to be married for 40 years is such an inspiration, to me that he definitely has influenced my trajectory, hands down.
Wow, I am so happy for him. I love to have him on and tell about his ultimate rags to riches story. That's so amazing.
For sure, I'll let him know.
and what is the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Be persistent. Get really clear on what you want. Follow your heart and that gut feeling. The universe will always provide, and then be persistent.
Mm-hmm. And that's very good advice as well. Once again, author Aundrea DeMille, entrepreneur, excellent mother of 5 boys with Is a Racism, How to Heal the Human Divide, and also the podcast on the Mike Wagner Show. Aundrea, very big thank you for your time. You've been totally amazing. Learned a lot from you and looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep in touch. Looking forward to 2022 and beyond. And also, once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book or check out your coaching services, podcasts, or and everything else?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike. This has been a great pleasure. It's been so much fun to laugh together. If you guys want to work together with me, Aundrea DeMille, you can find me on my website, thewakeupstories.com. You can order my book, Is It Racism? How to Heal the Human Divide. We're selling on Amazon and also on my website. Please be sure to hop over to Instagram and follow me, Aundrea_D_. And let's work together. Let's collaborate together, one conversation at a time. We can all help heal the human divide.
And we certainly will do so. Once again, Aundrea, a very big thank you for your time. You've been totally amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch, and definitely we'll have you on again. And you've been absolutely terrific, and you've got a great future ahead of you.
Thank you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.